I just finished one of the best stalks of my life so far. Most of you know that I've become obsessed with my recurve bow lately, and I've been torn between only hunting with it and still taking rifles out a little bit just to keep the freezer full. And there have been a couple of times where I've just taken the recurve out and said, no, I'm just going to make it happen today, this is it, and yeah, hasn't worked out. But today it did. This spot has a stack of feral goats on it, and despite them being worth a lot of money at the moment, it's impossible to muster them out of this country, so I take the odd one for horns or meat or fur, and they make a good target for a bow hunter or any hunter because they're usually active all throughout the day. They're not just an early morning or late afternoon thing. So I got up here last night, camped in my car, woke up pretty early, had a coffee, had some food, sharpened my broadheads up a little bit and came down. Pretty well intending to stay as long as I had to shoot something. So with my recurve bow, I've had opportunities at younger goats and at some pigs, but I liked the idea of holding out for a reasonable trophy. So I'm stoked, that's what I did. I walked down here and immediately got onto some goats in this spot. I saw this fella walking around on the riverbank, and he ended up bedding facing towards me with some brush at his back and looking with the wind, so I knew it would be impossible to stalk him from that spot. So I withdrew from this area and started to walk right up around the top, and hoped I could come right back in behind him even though the wind might bugger me. I thought that's the best chance I'd have. Anyhow, the wind stuffed me and he took off and went up into the scrub. So I walked back out of this whole area and went to a few other spots, stalked a few more goats, saw some snakes, saw some goannas, enjoyed my time in the bush as always, and decided to come back this way just to see if he'd come back out again before I walked back up the hill to camp. And I didn't see him at first, but I saw a few other smaller goats, so I crossed the river and I saw this fella bedded up the hill. And I had the camera on him and he stood up and started to walk past me to come and get a drink. Caught me off guard, but luckily I didn't spook him and he walked past me, and I was able to watch him having a drink and I guess eating some moss at the edge of the water for a good while. The wind was up my back, but he didn't seem too fussed about it, to be honest, which helped me out a fair bit. Anyhow, as you'll see on the footage, he ended up walking across the river after I'd tried to make a move, and I didn't want him to get too far, and the second he came over the top of this little rise here above the high water mark, I motored it and turned my GoPro on, luckily, and I couldn't see him walking around at first, which made me think maybe he spooked and took off, and it wasn't until I got right up into the grass I could see him through the grass and he was bedded. My heart just started racing, but I kept my composure and told myself that even though I was nervous, I was close enough to be able to get it done confidently. tried to stand up, but he couldn't, and fell over and passed on. So now I've got my first kill under my belt, and I'm in good form to going into summer and try and put plenty of animals on the ground to be as prepared as I can be for the 2020 fallow deer rut.